video is about PTE Academic Speaking Task 1 and 2. Imagine this two students walk into the PTE Academic exam. Both have good English, both have practiced for weeks, both get the same read aloud passage, both repeat the same sentence. One walks out with 90 in speaking, the other struggles to cross 65. Now, here's the interesting part. It wasn't because one student knew more vocabulary, it wasn't because one had a British accent, it wasn't even because one spoke faster. So, what's the difference? Today, I'm going to explain something that nobody really talks about. Think of every high scoring PTE speaker like a human being. Every human has DNA. DNA determines how we function, right? So a high scoring PD academic response also has its own DNA. Miss one strand, your score begins to drop. Miss two, then the score drops even more. So today we are going to discover the 5 DNA strands of a high scoring PDE academic response. And trust me, once you understand this, you will never practice read aloud or repeat sentence the same way again. Let's begin. Let's start with the first strand, confidence. Now, before you say confidence is easy for you to say. No, here I'm not talking about personality. I'm talking about how your voice sounds. Now, listen to these two speakers. Speaker A says, like, the internet has changed the way people communicate. And the speaker B, the internet has changed the way people communicate. Who sounds more confident here? Speaker B. Speaker B was not louder, did not have a better accent, did not use better English. They simply sounded certain. And guess what? The AI notices that steady delivery. Confidence doesn't mean speaking loudly. Confidence means speaking without sounding afraid of your own voice. Okay? And DNA strand number two, rhythm. Now let's talk about this rhythm. This is where many students lose marks. Some candidates speak like robots. The internet has changed communication. Others race through everything. The internet has changed communication completely. Both are wrong. English has music. Every sentence has a rhythm. Read aloud isn't just reading words, it's reading ideas. Think about music. A good song has beats. Your speech should also have beats, right? Not too slow, not too fast, just natural. If your rhythm sounds comfortable, people enjoy listening. And that's exactly what the scoring system is designed to reward. Okay, let's move on to DNA strand number three, chunking. This is one of my favorite DNA strands. I'll show you, okay? Imagine your read aloud says, climate change is one of the greatest environmental challenges facing the world today. Many students read it like this: climate change is one of the greatest environmental challenges facing the world today. Painful, isn't it? Now listen again. Climate change is one of the greatest environmental challenges facing the world today. Did you hear that? I did not stop after every word. I grouped words that naturally belong together. That's chunking. And here's something interesting. Native speakers don't read word by word, they read thought by thought. Okay, that's exactly what you should practice. Let's move on to DNA strand number four, pronunciation. This is actually one of the biggest myths in PD Academic. You do not need an American accent. You do not need a British accent. You do not need an Australian accent. You need a clear accent. There's a huge difference. If I say education and you understand me immediately, that's a good pronunciation. The goal is not to sound like someone else. The goal is to be understood easily. So stop copying movie actors. Start focusing on clarity, clear sounds, clear endings, clear words. That's what matters here. Okay? And DNA strand 5. We have reached the final DNA strand, and this one is called the flow. You can just think of a river. Does a river stop every few seconds? No, it keeps moving, right? That's exactly how your speaking should feel. Many students they get panic when they make one mistake, they stop, they start again, apologize, take a deep breath, and suddenly everything falls apart. Here's my advice. Made a mistake, keep going. One small mistake does not destroy your score, but stopping completely, okay? So often that has a much bigger impact on how your response sounds. Remember, flow is always more valuable than perfection, okay? Now let's imagine two candidates reading the same sentence. Candidate 1, good pronunciation, but terrible rhythm, lots of pauses, no chunking. Candidate 2, good pronunciation, natural rhythm, confident voice, excellent chunking, smooth flow. Who sounds more professional? Obviously, candidate 2. Not because they knew more English, but because their DNA was complete, right? So, whenever you practice read aloud, you have to ask yourself 5 questions. Was I confident? Did I have natural rhythm? Did I chunk my ideas? Was my pronunciation clear? Did my speech flow naturally? If the answer is yes to all 5, you're building strong speaking DNA. Okay? Now you might be thinking this sounds great for read aloud, but what about repeat sentence? Exactly the same DNA. Confidence, don't whisper, rhythm, repeat the sentence naturally, chunking, remember ideas. Okay, not individual words. That we call it as again pronunciation. And speak clearly, which is the flow. Even if you forget one word, just keep going, never freeze. That's why two students who remember the same number of words can still receive different scores. One sounds natural, the other sounds hesitant. Okay? Now let's see the speaking DNA in action. This is a simple read aloud passage. Listen carefully. Don't focus only on the words. Instead, pay attention to the 5 DNA strands we just discussed. Regular physical activity plays an important role in maintaining both physical and mental health. People who exercise regularly are more likely to have higher energy levels, better concentration, and a reduced risk of chronic diseases. Okay, now imagine candidate A reads it like regular physical activity plays an important role in maintaining both physical and mental health. People who exercise regularly are more likely to have so and so. Like if candidate A reads like this, what happened here? The pronunciation was not terrible, the grammar was correct, but if you talk about the confidence, the rhythm, chunking, chunking is missing here, right? And rhythm, of course, it's broken. Pronunciation mostly understandable, but the constant pauses make it harder to follow. Flow, almost gone. It sounds like reading isolated words rather than communicating a complete thought. Okay? So you should be able to say the words in a proper flow, not in isolated way. And remember, delivery is very important. Okay? Feel confident and deliver it in a natural rhythm. That's all for today's video. Kindly like, share, and subscribe for more PTE academic tips. See you in the next video. Bye bye.